So guys, it was a very big day for the holy grail of dividend ETFs. We're talking about SCHD. There were two very big pieces of news that came out. And in this video, we're just going to run through that news real quick and get all caught up to speed. So first and foremost, going over here to the main page on the fund's website, if we scroll down a little bit, we'll find the first piece of news right here. So I'll just read it out for you guys. So effective after market close of October 10th, 2024, SCHD will undergo a 3-for-1 share split. Now, in a nutshell, what this means, I'll give you a hypothetical example. Let's say that on October 10th, you own 100 shares of SCHD. Well, the next day, on October 11th, the market will open, and instead of having 100 shares, because there's a 3-for-1 share split, you will now have 300 shares. And essentially how this works, it explains it in detail right here. So forward share splits increase the number of shares outstanding, as we talked about. So your number of shares will go from 100 to 300 in this hypothetical example, but will also decrease the net asset value per share. So that's a really key part to all of this. It's not like Charles Schwab is just handing you triple the number of shares that you originally had. Along with this, the value per share will also be cut into 1/3. So on October 11th, you will wake up, not only will you have 3 times as many shares of SCHD as you went to bed with, but each one of those shares will be worth 1/3 the value. So in this hypothetical example, let's say that each share of SCHD is worth $75, okay? So October 10th, one share of SCHD is $75. You're gonna wake up the next day, each share of SCHD after the split, after the 3-for-1 split, will now be worth $25. And as it said in the paragraph here, the share splits will not change the total value of a shareholder's investment. So if you had X dollars invested in SCHD to buy those 100 shares, you'll still have the same amount of dollars invested pre-split and post-split. It's all going to work out to be the same. The only difference is that you'll have 3 times as many shares, and each one of those shares will be worth 1/3 the value. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, if we take a look at my SCHD position over here on my dividend portfolio tracking spreadsheet, which you can start using for free, there is a link to download this spreadsheet in the description of the video. At this point in time, I have 92.7 shares of SCHD, let's call it. And I've talked about this many times before, but my goal by the end of the year has been to reach 100 shares of SCHD by January 1st, 2025. That was my primary objective this year. I want to get 100 shares of the holy grail of dividend ETFs. And just from this stock split in October, I'm going to hit that mark. In fact, with this number of shares, 92.7 times 3, after the split, I should be left with, what is that, about 277 in some change, right? So almost 300 shares of SCHD. And so I think I need to adjust my SCHD goal with the split. And so now by the end of the year, my new goal is to have 300 shares of SCHD. And I think we can make it happen. We're this close. I mean, we're less than 8 shares away to hit that even 100. So I know that we're going to be able to get there. We're going to be able to get that 300 shares, and let's see what happens. But anyway, now moving on to the second piece of news, and this one is very cool. And I got to shout out my man SCHD Stan over on Blossom, because this is where I first found out about this news. He posted it over there on his page. And I think all of us SCHD shareholders are going to be super stoked about this. But as you can see from the headline there, SCHD just announced a 15.3% increase to their dividend based on the Q3 dividend payment that they announced today. So today's the ex-dividend date, September 25th. They will be paying this dividend on September 30th. It's going to be about 75.5 cents per share, which is a 15.3% increase over Q3 of 2023. And according to SCHD Stan here, he says this brings the annual increase so far to 14.3%. And with SCHD being my largest overall position, that's definitely going to be a nice boost to my annual dividend income. I'm stoked about it. And on that note, guys, if you want to see all of my other top positions, all of my other largest positions, then check out this next video right over here. I'm revealing them all to you, my top 5. These are going to be my largest positions. I'll show you what they are, and I'll show you how much income they're generating for me every single year. So click right over here to check that out, and I'll see you in the next one.